Hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. So excited to be here with you. I did want to quickly, before we get started, say thank you so much for the feedback. I've gotten so many messages about how much you love the podcast. It's helping you lose weight. You love the content here. So I just want to say thank you for listening. I'm so glad that it's helping. This is kind of the podcast that I wish that I'd had when I was starting my weight loss journey. And so it's my pleasure to provide you with these tools and this insight and kind of a new way of looking at weight loss. It really will change your life and your weight. Okay, so today's episode, we're going to talk about tempting foods and not overeating them. This is a very timely episode. So I have this couple, they're new to my program. And their first week working with me, they were going on this vacation and they were a little bit worried about the vacation. So they're like, we go on this vacation every year. And every night there's this huge potluck where everybody who's going, this big group, brings a ton of food. And we basically just pig out all night. And we're really worried that that's what's going to happen. So think about this for yourself. Of any event that's coming up that, maybe it's like a yearly event, like you always go to it and there's always all this like deliciously tempting foods. You don't want to overeat, but you do because you overeat. What do you do? Like, I know I'm walking into this situation where I'm gonna be really tempted to overeat all this stuff and I don't want to, but I do. How do I get myself to this place where I don't want to? So that's what today's tool is really about. This is the tool that I gave my clients while they were on this vacation. But you can utilize this in multiple different ways. So it doesn't have to be an event or a vacation or a potluck, like buffet type situation. This is something that you can use if you just have this nightly thing where every time you sit down on the couch, you eat a tub of ice cream and you want to stop, but you can't stop. This is a tool that you can use. So this is really helpful. A lot of what I teach my clients, it's about getting our brains to this place where we genuinely don't want to overdo it. If you listen to Julie's episode, she talks about going on vacation, going to this buffet, feeling like she was in this place where she genuinely didn't want to overeat on that buffet. In the past, she would have. She genuinely would have wanted to. And even though there's part of her that wouldn't want to, she wouldn't have been able to stop herself. And getting yourself to that place can take a little bit of practice and effort. And so if you're new, if you're trying this on your own, this is kind of a trick. It's kind of like a back door to getting your brain to this place where it's like, oh God, no, I don't want to do that. It's pretty crazy. I think you're really going to like it. So, and this is what I utilize with this couple. So they are brand new to the program. The tools have not had a chance to kind of sink in yet. They just started. The same week that they started, they were going on this vacation. So they hadn't really had a chance to acclimate to everything, to get themselves to a place where they can make a plan and stick to it, which is what I talk about a lot here. These are the basics of weight loss that I teach. You make a plan and you stick to the plan. But they hadn't really gotten their brains to that place where they could stick to the plan. So this tool kind of turns the tables and allows you to not overeat the tempting things. Okay. All right. So they're going on vacation. There's a huge potluck every night. Tempting foods, chips, dip, cheese, crackers, cookies, all the desserts. And everyone is just kind of standing around eating all night. Everyone else is doing it. All of these foods are right there at their fingertips. They don't want to overeat, but they do. They also do. And they felt really stuck. So they were making this plan that was kind of more along the lines of, I'm going to choose these foods that are going to help me feel really good. I'm going to choose, one or two indulgences, and I know that I'm going to have those, but I'm really going to be focused on how I feel in my body, making sure that I feel really good. And they just weren't following through on that. They were overeating. And I think he said to me, I ate to 100% satiety on chips and dip, which that satiety with percentage is a term that we use in my program to help us figure out where we are feeling in our body after a meal. So 100% satiety would be like, you have to unbutton your pants, you're bloated, you're uncomfortable, you feel sick, like you feel so sick that you can't even go to sleep even though you're tired. Like it's that place. It's that place that we find ourselves sometimes, but we genuinely, it feels terrible. Like we don't want to be there, even though we've just eaten ourselves to that place. We've just chosen to eat all these things and that got us there. But once we're there, we're like, this is horrible. It's miserable. I don't want to be here. So what I told them was scratch whatever plan you have for tonight and plan to overeat all of the things that you've been overeating the last couple nights. Might sound completely crazy, but this couple was all on board. They were like, yes, that sounds like exactly what we need. And I'm going to explain to you how this works, how this makes sense. Okay, so when we decide from this adult part of our brain, this is what we're doing, we are not allowing the other part of our brain, the toddler part of our brain, to get away with anything. We don't reinforce this habit that if you throw a fit, you get what you want. And this is part of why we plan in the first place, is to put the adult part of our brain in charge. That's what planning does. Writing it down specifically puts that adult part of our brain in charge. So, and what this also does, when you plan to do something that you know 100% you can follow through on, all of a sudden you've changed the emotional state of that event. So you are walking into that event feeling calm and certain that you can follow through on this plan. In this case, because they had already been following through on that. That's what they were doing. 100% I know I can do it because I did it last night. I overate last night. Telling me to overeat chips and dip, I know I can do that because I already did that. 100% calm, certain, confident that I can follow through on this plan. That emotional state creates a whole different outcome than walking in feeling doubt, worry, and overwhelm that you're going to overeat and that you're not going to be able to stop yourself. It brings you to this different presence in your brain and in your body when you're calm and confident than when you're worried and doubtful and you're spinning up in your head and you're completely distracted from how your body is feeling. So suddenly all of this food, all of this like overeating, eating to a place where you don't feel comfortable is a lot less appealing. And that's because these situations are never about the food, ever. They're always about what's going on in your brain, the thoughts and emotions behind the food. Okay, so this is like a trick to get us to the place where we want to be. So I'm going to give you 3 tools, but this is the main one. If you only do one of these, this is it. Plan to overeat. So picture your scenario. It doesn't have to be what the scenario that my clients were in. You pick yours, whatever it is, whatever you want to change, And whatever you've been doing or whatever you're worried that you're going to do, that's what you're planning to do for this. So if you're worried you're going to overeat at the potluck on chips and dip, that's what you're planning to do. I am going to overeat at the potluck on chips and dip. And I kind of want to preface all of this. I know I just mentioned it, but I'm going to explain it here. If you are new to the podcast or if you haven't heard me explain this before, I teach all of my clients that there's two parts of our brain. So if you've dieted before, you can relate to this. You pick your diet or you pick your number of calories that you're going to hit, and then all of a sudden your brain's like, yeah, let's screw the calories. We're just going to eat all this stuff. Not doing the calories today. We're just going to eat everything. And you're like, why did that happen? I wanted 100% to follow the plan, the diet, the calories, the points that I had chosen. And then I didn't follow through on that. Why did that happen? It's because of the second part of your brain, because there actually are kind of two voices. If you've heard these two voices, you know what I'm talking about. So we have the adult part of our brain. This is the part of our brain that wants to lose weight. It wants to feel good in your body. It wants to see that number on the scale. It wants to fit into those clothes. It's the adult part of our brain. It's looking into the future. And then we have the toddler part of our brain. That part of our brain just wants what it wants right now. And it's going to throw a fit in order to get that thing. So the scenario I use a lot is the toddler part of your brain is like, imagine if you take a toddler to a grocery store and you always give it a candy bar. If you take it to the grocery store this time and you say no candy bar, it's going to throw a fit. Same thing. The toddler part of your brain will literally act like a toddler. It's going to throw a fit. It's going to come up with a bunch of reasons why you should be eating the thing that it wants you to eat. It has certain scenarios that it's very triggered by. So in my example, it's the grocery store, but it could just in real life be, it's 9 p.m. You're sitting down on the couch to relax for the first time today. And it's like, let's get the ice cream out. Or you're going to a potluck. There's going to be all these tempting foods there. Let's eat all of them. That's the toddler part of your brain. So when we plan to overeat, we are giving the adult part of our brain control and power. And that's what we want. That's what I teach all of my clients. You need to put the adult part of your brain in charge for the day. That's what the plan is all about. We're writing it down. We're not allowing we're not making food decisions in the moment, because when we do that, that's coming from the toddler part of your brain. So in planning to overeat, whatever these foods are that you think that you're going to overeat, in my client's case, they knew exactly what they were. So they're just planning to eat them to a level of discomfort. They're saying, I'm going to eat chips and dip until I have to unbutton my pants and I feel sick. Right there, does that already not sound like so much less appealing? It's appealing when you do it in the moment because you have this heightened state of emotion around the food. You are feeling worried that you're not going to be able to say no and that you're going to overeat. And then that toddler steps in and it's like, this food's going to be amazing. It's so incredible. You love it. We're at a party. Everyone else is doing it. And you just create all of this desire and excitement for the food. And so you overeat and you're completely disconnected from the rest of your body until later on you're like, oh my God, I feel so sick. Like, what happened? But now we've put the adult in charge and we're saying hours before the event, and we're writing it down, I'm going to eat all of these foods until I feel sick. All of a sudden it's like, not so appealing anymore. That doesn't sound very good. It takes the power of the toddler throwing a fit in the moment away. And it reinforces the idea that the adults make the decisions here. Toddlers throwing fits doesn't work. You don't get what you want because you threw a fit. That's what half of the weight loss battle is about. Teaching your brain that you can throw a fit all day long. You don't get what you want. We don't eat things because you threw a fit. We eat things because the adult part of our brain decided that we're going to eat them. And when you learn this, when you ingrain this in your brain stops throwing fits. If we take that toddler to the grocery store and we consistently say, no, you're not getting a candy bar, and it throws a fit and we still don't give it the candy bar, guess what? After maybe just 2 times throwing a fit and not getting a candy bar, it's not going to throw the fit anymore. It's only doing that because it knows that on the other side, it's going to get what it wants. And we teach our brains like, nope, this is the adult. Adults make the decisions. Throwing a fit isn't going to work. So we're walking into this scenario tonight with ice cream or with the potluck. The adult has decided to eat all of the things and to get sick. There's no fit. There's going to be no toddler fit. So we've already decided that. And the other thing that planning to overeat does, or planning to eat the thing that you want to eat beyond a level of comfort, it changes your emotional state when you're walking into that. So my client couple, they were feeling nervous and doubtful and overwhelmed. They were feeling like, for sure, we're going to overeat. It's going to be really hard not to overeat. I don't really know how to not overeat. That walking into an event like this with that energetic state, that emotional state, whatever you're worried about, that's what your result is going to be. If you're worried about overeating, you're 100% guaranteeing that you're going to overeat. But what we're doing is we're flipping the tables on this. They were already doing this every night. They were overeating. So we're saying, okay, tonight you're just going to do what you've already been doing. Now, all of a sudden, you have 100% certainty that you can follow through on this plan that you've made. I know I can do it. I've already done it. I did it last night. You are walking in feeling certain, calm, confident. You're not feeling doubt, worry, and overwhelm. You know you can follow through on this plan. You've already done it. And when you feel calm, certain, and confident, you are present in your body. You're present with the food. You're not getting away with anything. When that toddler throws a fit, when you're feeling nervous and your toddler throws a fit and you feel like you've really gotten away with something, oh, I'm eating all the chips and dip, kind of like behind the adult's back. You're not present with the food. You're not tasting it. All you're focused on is eating as much as you can as fast as you can. But all of a sudden, walking in as the adult, calm, certain, and confident, you're tasting every bite of those chips and dip, every bite of that ice cream. You're present with it. And you're also present with how you feel in your body. You're present with the increasing level of discomfort that your body is experiencing. And it takes away the pleasure of getting away with something. Now you're like, why am I overeating this? This food, A, isn't as good as I thought it was. And B, eating this much of it is not fun. I don't actually enjoy it. So right there, like those within that plan to overeat, you have turned the tables on your brain. and made it so that it's actually easy to not overeat, to where you actually genuinely probably don't want to overeat. We've taken the power away from the toddler, so there's no fit, there's no getting away with anything, there's no sneaking food. And you've also brought this level of presence to your body where you're able to taste the food and it probably doesn't taste as good as you thought it did. And you're able to be present with how full you're getting. And you're realizing, I do not want to overeat. This is not fun. So this is what I told these clients to do. And they were like, 100%. I can already sense the change in the energy. I feel in control now. And I genuinely feel like I don't want to overeat. Isn't that crazy? We just turned everything around. And then the last two things I'm going to offer you is deciding ahead of time how you want to feel in your body. This is huge for my clients. So how do you want to feel after this meal or after this event? Do you want to feel weighed down, bloated, tired, sick, like you have to unbutton your pants? Probably not. If I'm giving you the choice, if you get to decide, that's probably not at all how you want to feel. How you want to feel, if you get the choice, if you're deciding ahead of time, you probably want to feel energized, grounded, comfortable, light, present. You want to choose that. So think about that as well. How do you want to feel after the potluck? How do you want to feel after the ice cream? If you're choosing ahead of time and you get to make that decision, you probably want to feel good in your body, not sick. And then with events in particular, I offer this to all of my clients. What is the actual reason that you're there? Because right now, you are all up in your head focused on the food, and that is not actually the reason that you're going to this event. That's not the reason you're going on vacation. It's not the reason you're going to a potluck. It's not the reason you're going to a buffet. You're going for this experience. You're going for the people. You're going to do something new, to step outside of your routine, to make connections, to make memories. You're not going for the food. The food is never the reason that you're there. So change your focus. Focus on the real reason that you're going. And continue to remind yourself, readjust throughout the event as your brain calls up like, oh man, that buffet looks awesome. And then you're like, I'm super worried, I'm gonna overeat. Hey, bring this back. We're here to connect with these people, to have a good time, to make a memory, to have a new experience. It's not about the food. It's never about the food. Okay, so give these a try. Let me know how it goes, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.